and now we will learn how to rename and describe a variable. Putting a description on a variable is also called putting a label on a variable. We will name and describe the whole variable. That's the name at the top of the column in the data sheet. So if I were to come to Stata and open the data sheet, you would be able to see gender, age, continent, and we can change these names and put them differently in our code. I might have to restore this down a little for you to see, but these are the names at the tops of the column headings because these are the names of the variables that we created. Now, Stata calls the variable description a label. But don't confuse that with the labels of the values in the variable. The values in the variable and their labels were discussed in a different video. So if I come back to Stata and I open this up, I'm talking about changing these headings. I'm not talking about changing the label of what's over the number inside the data field. That was a different video. The only significant thing about having a description of a variable is that if a variable has a label description, then you will see that in the table instead of the name. Here's the basic code. The command is label variable, and you type that in first. You should put all lowercase. Then after a space, you should put the name of the variable. Then put a space, open quotation marks, and then type in the description that you want to show up in the top of the table. Then close the quotation marks. It's that simple. So, the first code that we're going to type in is label variable, space, continent is the variable we're adding a description to, then another space, then put quote, part of the world you are from. So right now, if we run a table, tab, continent, you can see it just says the variable name in the top left. But if we type in this code, again, label variable, continent, label variable, space, continent, space, quote, then type in what you want in the description, part of the world you are from, close quote. Now when I hit enter, if we did not get an error message, we could run another table on the variable continent, and in that table now you see the description is in the top left instead of the variable name. Let's try one more. How about we change the label on gender to read man or woman? So right now, if we type in tab, gender, we only get the word gender in the top left. But if we type in this code, label variable, gender, man or woman, label variable, gender, quote, cap locks, man or woman, close quote, hit enter, and now we run the table again. Got to take away the caps. We run the table again on the same variable, and you can see now it says the description in the top left instead of the name. That's really the only significant difference about having a label on the whole entire variable. Renaming a variable is the easiest thing you could ever do in Stata. The code is rename, then type in the old name of the variable, then type in the new name of the variable. So for example, if we want to rename the variable age to the word generation, that's all we have to type in. If we look at the data sheet now, we can see this variable is called age. But once we name it, we rename it to the word generation, when we come back to the data sheet, it'll say generation. And we can run a table with these values. So, rename The name of the variable is age. Then the new name should be generation. Hit enter. And if we look back at the data sheet, we see now it doesn't say the word age, it says the word generation. Now that's exactly how we have to spell it if we run an analysis. Generation. And here's the table with all the frequencies that used to be age. Let's change it back. Rename, make sure you spell it right, R-E-N-A-M-E, generation, age. Now let's check if we did it right. Age. And here's the table again. And that's how you do it.